नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय।
नारायणं नमस्कृत्यं
नारायणं नमस्कृत्यं
नरं चैव नरोत्तमं
नरं चैव नरोत्तमं
देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं
देवीं सरस्वती व्यासं
ततो जयमुदीरये।
ततो जयम् उदीरयेत्।
नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु
इष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु
नित्यं भागवत सेवया
नित्यं भागवत सेवया।
भगवतीरुत्तमश्लोके
भगवतीरुत्तम श्लोके
भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी।
भक्तिर्भवति नैष्ठिकी।
Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 7, verse 13 and 14. Yadha mridhe kaurava srinjayanam
यदा मृदे
वीरेश्वतो वीरगतिं गतेषु वृकोदराविद्दगधाभिमर्श भग्नोरुदण्डे धृतराष्ट्रपुत्रे भर्तुप्रियं द्रौणिरिति स्म पश्यन् कृष्णासुतानां स्वपथां शिरांसि
कृष्णासुतानां स्वपथांसि
उपाहरत् विप्रियम् एव तस्य
उपाहरद्प्रियम् एव तस्य
जुगुप्सितं कर्म विगर्हयन्ति यथा मृदे कौरवसृञ्जयानाम् वीरेष्वतो वीरगतिं गतेषु वृकोदराविद्दगदाभिमर्श भग्नोरुदण्डे धृतराष्ट्रपुत्रे भर्तुप्रियं धौनिरिति स्म पश्यन् कृष्णासुतानां स्वपथां शिरांसि उपाहरद्विप्रियम् एव तस्य जुगुप्सितं कर्म विगर्हयन्ति
यदा यदा मृदे कौरवसृञ्जयानाम् वीरेशव अतो वीर गतिं गतेषु वृकोदराविद्द गदाभिमर्श भग्नोरुदण्डे धृतराष्ट्रपुत्रे भर्तुप्रियं द्रौणिरिति स्म पश्यन् कृष्णासुतानां स्वपथां शिरांसि उपाहरत् Vipriyam eva tasya.
Upaharat vipriyam eva tasya.
Jugupshitam karma vigarhayanti.
Jugupsitam karma vigarhayanti. Translation purport by student Grace Ave Charnar Vinda Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Jai Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Synonyms: Yada, when.
Yada, when.
Mridhe, in the battlefield.
Mridhe, in the
battlefield.
Kaurava, the party of Dhritarashtra.
Gaura, the party of Vrajeshwar.
Srinjayanam, of the party of the Pandavas.
Shrinjayanam, of the party of the Pandavas.
Vireshu, of the warriors.
Vrajeshwar, of the warriors.
Atho, thus.
Thus.
Viragatim, the destination deserved by the warriors.
Viragatim, the destination deserved by the warriors.
Gateshu, being obtained.
Gateshu,
Being obtained.
Vrikodara, Bhima, the second Pandava.
Vrikodara,
Bhima, the second
Bhima, the
Pandava.
second Pandava.
Avidya, beaten.
Avidya, beaten.
Gada, by the club.
Gada, by the
Gada,
club.
by the club.
Abhimarsha, lamenting.
Abhimarsha,
Lamenting.
Lamenting.
Bhagna, broken.
Bhagna, broken.
Bhagna, broken.
Urudhande, spinal cord.
Urudhande, spinal
Guru,
cord.
that is spinal cord.
Dhritarashtra Putre, the son of King Dhritarashtra.
Rashtraputra, son of Dhritarashtra.
Son of King Dhritarashtra.
Bhartu of the master.
Bhartu
Bhartu of the master.
Virtue of the master.
Priyam, pleasing.
Priyam,
Pleasing.
Drauni, the son of Dronacharya.
Drauni, the
Drauni, the son of
The
Dronacharya.
son of Dronacharya.
Iti, thus.
Iti, thus.
Iti, thus.
Iti,
Sma, shall be.
Sma, shall be.
Shall be.
Pashyan, seeing.
Shakti,
Seeing.
Pashyanti.
Krishna, Draupadi.
Krishna, Draupadi.
Krishna, Draupadi.
Suthanam of the sons.
Krishna,
Sana, the sons.
Suta of the sons.
Swapatam, while sleeping.
Swapatam, while
Swapatam, by
sleeping.
sleeping.
While sleeping.
Shiramsi, heads.
Sri Ram,
Sri heads.
Upaharat, delivered as a prize.
Upaharat,
Upaharat.
delivered as prize.
Delivered as a prize.
Vipriyam, unpleasing.
Vipriyam, unpleasing.
Pleasing.
Eva, like.
Eva, like.
Eva, like.
Tasya, his.
Tasya,
His.
Jugupshitam, most heinous.
Jugupshitam, most heinous.
Most heinous.
Karma, act.
Karma,
Karma.
Vigar hayanti, disapproving.
Hayanti, disapproving.
Translation, please repeat after me. When the respective warriors of both camps.
When the
Respective warriors of the both camps.
Namely, the Kauravas and the Pandavas were killed on the battlefield of Kurukshetra.
Namely, the
Kauravas and the Pandavas
on the battlefield of Kurukshetra.
And the dead warriors obtained their deserved destinations.
And the dead warriors
obtained their deserved destination.
And when the son of Dhritarashtra fell down lamenting,
And when the son of Dhritarashtra shouted lamenting,
his spine broken, being beaten by the club of Bhimasena, the son of Bhimasena.
his
His
spine
broken,
broken,
being
being
beaten by the club
beaten
of
by the club of Bhimasena,
The son of Dronacharya, Ashwatthama, beheaded the 5 sleeping sons of Draupadi.
the son of Dronacharya,
Dronacharya
beheaded the 5
beheaded
sleeping sons of Draupadi,
sons of Draupadi
And delivered the heads as a prize to his master, foolishly thinking that he would be pleased.
and delivered
the
the
heads
heads to his
as a
master,
prize to his
foolishly
master, foolishly
would be
thinking
pleased.
that he would be pleased.
However, Duryodhana, however, disapproved of the heinous act, and he was not pleased in the least.
Duryodhana,
However, disapproved of the heinous act,
he
and he
was
was
not
not
pleased.
pleased in the least.
Purport.
Transcendental topics of the activities of Lord Shri Krishna in the Srimad Bhagavatam begins from the end of the battle at Kurukshetra, where the Lord himself spoke about himself in the Bhagavad Gita. Therefore, both the Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam are the transcendental topics of the Lord Krishna. The Gita is Krishna Katha, or topics of Krishna, because it is spoken by the Lord, and the Bhagavatam is also Krishna Katha because it is spoken about the Lord. Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu wanted everyone to be informed of both Krishna Kathas by his order. Lord Sri Krishna Chaitanya is Krishna himself in the grab of a devotee of Krishna, and therefore the versions of both Lord Krishna and Sri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu are identical. Lord Chaitanya desired that all who are born in India seriously understand such Krishna Kathas, and then after full realization preach the transcendental message to everyone in all parts of the world. That will bring about the desired peace and prosperity of the stricken world.
Hari Om Tat Sat. So, Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitamena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Jaya Pataka Swamin Itina Nine Namo Acharya Padaya Nitaya Kripa Pradayine Gaura Kata Damadhaya Nagara Grama Tarine Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Sunyavadhe Paschatya Desatarine Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Sri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Nama Krishna Yadavaya Namaha Gopal Govinda Ram Sri Madhusudanam Mukam Karodi Vachalam Pangulangai Tegiri Matkirpatama Mande Sri Gurum Dina Tharidam Paramananda Madhavam Sri Chaitanya Mishwaram Hari Om Tat Sat. Very beautiful words, the transcendental topics of the activities of Lord Sri Krishna. That is Bhagavatam and Srimad Bhagavad Gita. So Krishna, science of Krishna means Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam. Repeatedly, not only Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, in the modern world, Srila Prabhupada has also told very clearly that one can become the spiritual master and initiate disciples if one knows Tattva-vid. Otherwise, science of Krishna. And then Prabhupada is very clearly told what is science of of Krishna. Science of Krishna is nothing but Srimad Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam. These both books, if one thoroughly studies, he knows the science of Krishna. And Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada awards the person Bhakti Vedanta title. So thus he can inherit the title. This is our Srila Prabhupada established this principle all over the world, and for that purpose he wanted to establish this Bhakti Shastri, Bhakti Vaibhavan, Bhakti Vedanta. So here in this verse we are seeing, yesterday we saw that they are going to narrate with the pastimes of Parikshit Maharaj. So it is the beginning of narrating the Parikshit Maharaj's life actually. Okay, so Drauni means Dronacharyas. Dronacharya, who is Dronacharya? So you can see here, Bhartu Priyam Drauni itisma Pashyan. So Drauni means Dronacharya's son. She is Drauni. And son of Dronacharya. A Brahmana he is. He is a Brahmana because Dronacharya is a Brahmana, and this Ashwatthama is also a Brahmana, but he took the profession of a Kshatriya. Actually, a Brahmana to take up the profession of the Kshatriya when Varnashrama Dharma was prevailed, it is a degradation. It is called fallen. So it is, he has fallen. So it's a degradation. So when a Brahmana takes the occupation of a Kshatriya, it is degradation. So this Drauni, or the son of Dronacharya, he belonged to the Brahmana family and he accepted the profession of a Kshatriya, which means he has degraded himself. So as per degradation, he does not have the proper sense of the Kshatriya as to whom to kill, when not to kill, whom not to kill. All these things he is not very clear. Because he degraded so much that he cut off the heads of the 5 sons of Draupadi while they were sleeping. Not in the battlefield, not during daytime, night time, after the sunset, okay, where the war is not supposed to be held. And then without any weapon and not fighting, but sleeping sons, he just beheaded them. This is degrade, so much degradation. A Kshatriya never slays anybody who is sleeping, first and foremost, even if it is enemy. Kshatriya's business is to challenge, not just come behind and just kill. If the other party has no weapon, he supplies weapon in the challenge. And then he asks him, come on, take this weapon and then fight. He supplies weapon. Then there is fight. Then it is decided one must die in the fight. That decision is always there. That is Kshatriya Dharma. So when there is fight between 2 Kshatriyas, the decision is that one must die. Unless one dies, the business, the fighting should go on. It cannot stop. Of course, every sunset it will stop, and the next morning, every sunrise it will resume. This is Kshatriya, and it was happening in the beginning of the Mahabharata. So then in that, one of the Kshatriya who dies, that is called Viragati. Viragati means he has achieved the perfect destination. If a Kshatriya dies in the fight, he gets the promotion of Viragati, means he goes to the heavenly planet. Not perfect destination, but a better, higher destination. Okay, which is suitable for a Kshatriya who dies on the battlefield as per the law of karma. So he goes to the heavenly planet. And Arjuna was advised by Krishna in Srimad Bhagavad Gita, you fight. If you are victorious, then you will enjoy this kingdom. And if you are killed, then you will go to heavenly planets and better enjoyment is awaiting you. Then where is your loss here? Both ways you are gaining. So why shall you not fight? This is the advice Krishna is giving to Arjuna. So here it is said, Yatha mridhe kaurava srinjayanam. So, Yatha mridhe kaurava srinjayanam. In the fight, all the parties who died, they all obtained viragati. Vriteshu vireshu ato viragatim gateshu. Not only Vrikodara Vidya, but also Dhritarashtra Putra. Means both sides. Both sides. And most of them, here they didn't go to heavenly planet. They have achieved a Swarupa. Because Krishna was there. Krishna was present in the battlefield. So this fight was not ordinary, and those who died are not ordinary. They get their Swarupa. That is described in a different place, of course. Swarupa means his original spiritual form, not heavenly planet, another better material body to have a better sense gratification. No. He got spiritual body because this Mahabharata is fought on the order of Krishna. So here anybody died, they got their Swarupa, all the soldiers or the kings, whoever died, and at the time of death, who were seeing Krishna was in there, because Krishna was there in the battlefield. All of them achieved their original spiritual form, Swarupam. And those who did not see Krishna, naturally Viragatim, they got promoted to heavenly planet. So fight is not always bad if it is Dharma Yuddha. According to the prescribed rules, not whimsical fight. Dharma Yuddha means then there is gain, both in the death as well as in the life. In both it is dead. But that science is lost now. There is no such thing. Now fighting means hooliganism, vandalism, gundaism. That is not fight actually. Viragatim gate, that is fight. So both the Dhritarashtra, Putra, as well as Pandav Putras got the Viragatim, Pandav side soldiers got Viragatim. This Vrikodhara, Vira, Vikodhara Vidya and Gadhabi Marsha, Duryodhana and Bhima, finally, they were fighting. They were very expert in fighting because Balaram was their guru. Sakshat Hari, Balaram, he was guru for the club fight. So they were very, very wonderful fighting was going on between both of the soldiers. Balarama, Krishna was natural, but neutral in that this thing. But Krishna was taking the side of Arjuna. He was driving the chariot. That means he was on the side of Pandavas. But actually he was not fighting. So Balaram also did not fight. In order to avoid any parties, Balaram, he left for the holy places at that time. He was traveling all over India from different holy places, one place to another. He rendered just like Nityananda Prabhu also traveled across India. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu went all the way to South India by distributing the mercy. So Balaram had some sympathy with Duryodhana anyway, because Duryodhana was his disciple to learn how to fight with this Gada or club. So naturally he was sympathetic. So when he came back after traveling for almost a year, what happened was Balaram was seeing what was happening between Bhima and, Duryodhana. So when he came, they were fighting. The fighting was going on actually. So just to show him respect, they stopped fighting and everyone was silent because the Pandavas knew that Balaram was sympathetic with Duryodhana. And if he takes the side of Duryodhana, then everything will be spoiled because he is a supreme person, no? But he did not do so. He advised them, my dear Duryodhana, I know you are a great fighter. You have got strength. You have learned. You know the art of fighting, but you are not so strong as Bhima. And he advised Bhima, my dear Bhima, you have got the strength of 10,000 elephants. Naturally, you are superiorly stronger. So he knows the art better than you. And you are bodily stronger than him. He knows the art better than you, and you know bodily, you are bodily stronger than him. So there will be no decision. The fighting will go on. Can you not stop? Because there will not be decision. The fighting will go on. Unless one is dead, the fighting will go on. So what is the use? Nobody will be victorious in this fight. So better to stop it. But they remained silent when Balaram said this. Silent means they did not like the idea. That is why they are remaining silent. Because Bhima had many old grudges against Duryodhana, because when Draupadi was being insulted, they had to sit down silent, no protest. There were so many incidents, rivalry, insult and counter insult. This was going on throughout their life. So they took the opportunity of feeding the old grudge by fighting. Everyone was determined, I must kill Duryodhana was determined to kill Bhima, and Bhima was determined to kill Duryodhana. So when they did not listen to the instruction of Baladev, then Baladeva left the place. He went to Dwaraka. Back, of course, Krishna was there because Krishna was to give hint to Bhima how to kill Duryodhana. So Duryodhana, by the blessing of his mother, his whole body became iron-like solid. So by beating by the Bhima, it was not easy. So the story is that Gandhari, who is the mother of Duryodhana, she was great chaste woman. Because her husband was blind, she used to remain as blind woman, covering the eyes. But she had some power. Chaste women, no. Anyone who sticks to the regulative principles, he gets a power, spiritual or material, some power he gets. So a brahmachari gets power if he follows brahmacharya very rigidly. Everyone, everyone. If we follow the 4 regulative principles very strictly, automatically you become very powerful. So Gandhari, she had some power. Her eldest son, Duryodhana, was advised to see the mother naked. So she advised, my dear son, tomorrow morning, when you come to offer your obeisances to me, you come naked. I shall see you. And you will be solidified just like iron. So she was going, Duryodhana was going naked, and Krishna saw. So he asked him, where are you going? And what is this? I'm going to see my mother. How is that? You're going naked? At least you have some langota. This is not good. So he took the instruction of Krishna and covered the private part with the langota. And when Gandhari saw, she saw that he was not fully naked. So she regretted, oh my dear son, I asked you to come before me naked. Why you have got this? No, Krishna advised. Then she began to smile that my attempt is also failure. So Krishna knew it. That part which was covered, that was not turned iron. The other parts turned into iron on account of seeing by Gandhari. So in this fight, Krishna hinted Bhima that you strike there. That part is not ionized. Although it is against the regulative principle to strike the opponent party below the waist, Krishna advised that unless you transgress this law, you cannot kill him. So he was struck below the waist and he was not killed, but his waist was broken. Therefore, it is said, Vrikodara Vidya Gada Bimarsha. Then he died. This is mentioned here. So, Bagnoru Dande, Bagnoru Uru Dande means the spinal cord is broken. Bagnoru Dande. So, that is Dhritarashtra Putra Duryodhana. So, Drauni, who is Duryodhana, his master was Drauni means son of Dronacharya. His master was Duryodhana. And as I told you, he is a Brahmana, but he became the servant of a Kshatriya. That is degradation. His master, he has accepted Duryodhana as his master. That time he has degraded. Not when he was cutting the head of the sleeping sons of Pandavas. When he accepted Duryodhana as his master, a Kshatriya as his master, that time the Brahmana has fallen. That time it is degraded. So in this way, this portion of Mahabharata where Krishna is involved is not mundane material thing. This is described in Srimad Bhagavatam. Srila Prabhupada spoke those parts, only those parts, how much Srila Prabhupada has given us is acceptable. Because this is part of devotional service, transcendental. If it is devotional service because you are hearing, you are speaking, and it is transcendental because Krishna is connected. That is why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu or what do you call it? Yeah, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, transcendental topics of the activities of Lord Krishna, Janma Karma Cha Me Divyam Evam Yogeti Tattvata. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, 9th verse in 4th chapter. So Srimad Bhagavatam begins where Bhagavad Gita ends. And Bhagavad Gita ends where the battle of Kurukshetra starts and ends. So that is where Lord Krishna has spoken himself in the Bhagavad Gita. So Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam both are transcendental topics of Lord Krishna. So they are completely transcendental. Reading, hearing, and speaking of that is devotional service. It is connected to Krishna. So yesterday we saw how wonderful it is. Anything coming in Bhagavatam is not material. So we are discussing this Mahabharata portion here. This is not material because this is connected to both Krishna and Balaram. Both of them have spoken in this. So this is called transcendental literature. So Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam. So what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, these two types of Krishna Katha should be known to everyone. This is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's desire. He wanted that everyone be informed. Those who don't know should be informed by those who know it. So he says, Bharata Bhumile Hoite Janmayara Apna Swata Karo Karo Paropakara. Those who have taken birth in this Bharata Varsha should make himself known of signs of Krishna by studying the Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam under the bona fide spiritual master. And after that, you go and give this information to others, preach to others this Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam. This is the order of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. In this way, you can initiate disciples all over the world. And in Bhakti Rasamrita, Bhakti, what do you call it? Nectar of instruction, we see that one who can make disciples all over the world. Vacho Vegam, Manasa Krodha Vegam, Jihva Vegam, Udropasta Vegam, Ethan Vegan, Yo Vidahev Adirat, Pumsam Prithvimsa Sishyat. So one who can control his tongue, all the senses. Control means regulate. Regulate means engage. Engage means perform service, keeping Krishna at the center. Then we can understand the science of Krishna from the bona fide source. So this is the transcendental message that should be preached to everyone in all parts of the world. Then only the world can be saved and they can become natural, original Krishna consciousness. So anything you want to add, Shantha Gopi, or we'll go to the next verse, or we'll wind up? I think it's already
We'll go to next one verse.
Okay. So Shantha Gopi will take this verse. Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 7, verse 15. Mata Sishunam Nidanam Sutanam
Mata
Sisunam Nidanam Sutanam
Nisham Yagoram Paritapyamana
Ishamya
Yagoram
Paritapyamana
Tadarudadvashpakala Kulakshi
Tadarudadvashpakala
Tam Santvayannaha Kiritamali
Tam Kiritamali
Mata Sishunam Nidanam Sutanam
Mata
Sisunam Nidanam Sutanam
Nisham Yagoram Paritapyamana
Nisham
Yagoram Paritapyamana
Tadharudadvashpakala Kulakshi Tam Santavayannaha Kiritamali
Mata Sishunam Nidanam Sutanam
Mata
Nisham Yagoram Paritapyamana Tatarudatvapsa Kala Kulakshi Tam Shantavayan Aha Kiritamali
Tam
Synonyms. Mata, the mother.
Mata, the mother.
Shishunam of the children.
Shishunam of the
Now of the
children.
children.
Nidanam, massacre.
Nidanam,
Nidanam,
massacre.
massacre.
Suthanam of the sons.
Sultanam of the sons.
Nishamya after hearing.
Nishamya after
Nishamya after hearing.
Ghoram, ghastly.
Ghoram
Ghoram,
ghastly.
ghastly.
Paritapyamana, lamenting.
Paritapyam
Paritapyamana, lamenting.
Tada, at that time,
tada
Tada, at that time,
Harudat began to cry.
Arudat began
Arudat began to cry.
Vashpakala akula akshi, with tears in the eyes.
Vashpakala
Vashpakala
Akula with
Akula
tears in the eyes.
tears in the eyes. Akuta Akshi, tears in the eyes.
Come, her.
Come
Her.
Santvayam, pacifying.
Shantvayam, pacifying.
Aha said.
Said.
Kiritamali, Arjuna.
Kiritamali, Arjuna.
Translation, please repeat after me. Oh, no purport. So we'll go to next verse after this. Draupadi, the mother of the 5 children of the Pandavas, after hearing of the massacre of her sons, began to cry in distress with eyes full of tears. Sorry.
Draupadi,
the mother of the 5 children of the Pandavas, after hearing of the massacre of her sons, began to cry
with eyes full of tears.
with eyes full of tears.
Trying to pacify her in her great loss, Arjuna spoke to her thus.
Trying to pacify her in her loss, Arjuna spoke to her thus.
Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 7, verse 16.
Is there a purport?
Yeah. Tada shuchaste pramrujami badre.
Tada suchaste pramirjami badre.
Brahma bandho shira atatayina.
Yad Brahma bandho tatayina.
Gandiva mukter vishikair upahare.
Gandiva muktair vishikair upahare.
Vakram yayatsnasya siddha putra.
Vakram yayatsnasyasi siddha putra.
Tada shuchaste pramrjami badre.
Tada suchaste brahmishami
badre.
Yad Brahma bandho shira atatayina.
Yad Brahma bandho shira atatayina.
Gandiva mukter vishikair upahare.
Gandiva muktair vishikair upahare.
Tvakram yayatsnasya siddha putra.
Vakram yayatsnasyasi siddha putra. Tata suchaste pramarjami badre.
Tada suchaste
Brahmami badre.
Yat brahma bandho siratayina.
Yad Brahma bandho siratayina.
Gandiva muktair vishikair upahare.
Gandiva mukter vishikair
Vakram yayatsnasyasi dagda putra.
Vakram
Synonyms. Tada, at that time only.
Tada,
at that time only.
Sucha, tears in grief.
Sucha,
Tears
tears in grief.
Te, your.
Te, you are.
Pramrjami, shall wipe away.
Pramajami shall wipe.
Brahmajami shall wipe away.
Shall wipe away.
Bhadre, O gentle lady.
Bhadre,
O
O
gentle
gentle lady.
Yat, when
Yat,
Yat
when
Brahmabandho of a degraded Brahmana
Brahma
Brahma
Bandhu of a
of a
degraded
degraded
of
Brahmana.
a
Brahmana,
degraded Brahmana.
Shira, head,
Sira head.
Hira, head,
Head.
Atatayana of the aggressor,
Atatayana of the
Atatayana
Atatayana
of the
aggressor.
of the
aggressor.
aggressor.
Gandiva Mukte, shot by the bow named Gandiva.
Gandiva
Gandiva
Mukti
Gandiva
Mukti
shot
is
by the
shot
Mukti,
bow
by the
named
bow
shot
named
by the
Gandiva.
bow
Gandiva.
named Gandiva.
Vishikehi, by the arrows.
Rishikehi by the
Vishikehi by
arrows.
the arrows.
Upahare shall present to you,
Upahari
Upahare
said
shall
to
Shall
you,
present to
present to
you.
you.
Twa, yourself,
try
Try
yourself.
yourself.
Akramya, riding on it,
Akramya riding
Akramya
on it.
riding on
Riding
it.
on it.
Yat which,
Yat
Yat
which
That which
Snasyasi, take your bath,
Snayas
Snayasi, take
take
your
take
your
your
bath.
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 Dagdaputra, after burning the sons.
Dagdaputra after
Dagdaputra after
burning the
burning
sun.
the sons.
Translation, please repeat after me. O gentle lady,
O
O
O
gentle
gentle
lady,
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 when I present you with the head of that Brahmana,
when I,
when
when
I
I
when
present
I
present
you with
you
the
with the
head
present
of
head
that
of
you
the
with the
Brahmana,
Brahmana,
of that Brahmana,
after beheading him with arrows from my Gandiva bow,
after
after
beheading
after
him
beheading
with
him
beheading
with
him
arrows
with
from my
arrows
arrows
from my
from my
Gandiva
Gandiva
bow,
Gandiva
bow,
bow,
I shall then wipe the tears from your eyes and pacify you.
I
I
shall
shall
wipe
I
the
then
shall
wipe
tears
the
then
from
tears
your
wipe
from
the
eyes
your
and
tears
eyes and
from your
pacify
eyes
you.
pacify
and
you.
pacify you.
Then, after burning your sons' bodies,
Then
Then after
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 burning the
burning
burning
sun's
your
your
sons'
body,
body,
bodies,
you can take your bath standing on his head.
you
you
can take
can
your
take
bath
your bath
standing on
standing
his
on
head.
your
his
bath.
head.
Put.
An enemy who sets fire to the house, administers poison, attacks all of a sudden with deadly weapons, plunders wealth, or usurps agricultural fields, or entices one's wife is called an aggressor. Such an aggressor, though he be a Brahmana or a so-called son of a Brahmana, has to be punished in all circumstances. When Arjuna promised to behead the aggressor named Ashwathama, he knew well that Ashwathama was the son of a Brahmana. But because the so-called Brahmana acted like a butcher, he was taken as such. And there was no question of sin in killing such a Brahmana's son who proved to be a villain.
Om Tat Sat. Om Ajnana Timirandasi Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurvanmilitam Yena Tasmai Sri Guruve Namah. Mugam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langayate Girim Yatkrpatamaham Vande Sri Gurum Dinatarinam Paramanandamadhavam Sri Chaitanyam Ishwaram. Namo Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimati Jayapataga Swami Niti Namine Namo Acharya Padaya Nitaya Kripa Pradayine Gaura Katha Damadaya Nagara Gramathara Namo Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimati Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharani Nirvisesha Sunyavadi Paschatya Desadharani Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasati Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Randaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai Srila Prabhupada ki jai Guru Maharaj ki jai. So here we are seeing, now we are starting. So already Suta Goswami, he has told that what he is going to narrate. He is going to narrate three things: the transcendental narrations of Krishna, then the appearance and activities and disappearance of Parikshit. Then we also saw that he is going to discuss about the retirement of Panchapandavas. So this is the, he gives the content before he actually presents the subject. Then he starts from somewhere where the end of Mahabharata war. Generally, even in the book of Mahabharata, Only till the war is mentioned. So after the war, what happened? Who got enthroned? Then how after Duryodhana died? Then what exactly? How after they were enthroned? What exactly happened after that? It's not there in any scripture. A little here and there in Padma Purana, and all little touch is there, but not specifically. Starting from the end of Mahabharata is not there. So here is where we will see that. Okay, fine. There was Krishna came, Dharma Samsthapanarthaya Sambhavami Yuge Yuge. So he came. Of course, he doesn't want non-devotee to rule. So he has given the kingdom, even if they are not too very good in materially. Of course, they will give comfort in every way, but they're not too much towards giving high class comfort and sense gratificatory arrangement for the public and keeping all the citizens happy. Because anyway, this dukkale mashashvata. Even if something like that is arranged, people will have their own personal karma and problems, and they will end up with the personal problems individually within a house. How much a government can do? What a government can? How can government change the karma? Not possible. So, what exactly happened after Yudhishthira has been enthroned as the king after the Mahabharata war? Then what is happening here? And before that, it is being Sutta Goswami is starting. Just before that, he's going to talk about his own Guru Maharaj. Sukadeva Goswami and Parikshit Maharaj, who had a conversation. He got Bhagavatam from there, and in fact, Sukadeva Goswami got it from Vyasadeva. So, even though Bhagavatam is now, this entire Bhagavatam is compiled by Vyasadeva only, but still within that, Sutta Goswami's conversation with Saunaka Rishis are considered a primary subject matter here. Then comes Sukadeva Goswami and Parikshit Maharaj's conversation. That will come a lot and lot from second canto onwards. So here, we know that where we are now, at the end of Mahabharata war, everything is finished and Bhima smashed the thigh of Duryodhana, and he is lying down in battlefield, and Ashwatthama considers very good friend of Duryodhana. He wanted to give pain to the Pandavas, and he thinks that giving pain to the Pandavas will give pleasure to Duryodhana. It not necessarily. We saw that it was proven that Duryodhana was totally dissatisfied when he saw that young boys, 5 young boys. Draupadi had 5 children from each of the husbands. Very one year she will be with one husband. She's very pure personality. There is a lot of processes she underwent. So we cannot take a Vaishnavi casually. They will do anything, they'll become anything. Like the Jaya and Vijaya, they were in Vaikunta, doorkeepers of the Lord. But when they were asked by the Lord that I want to have a serious fighting spirit, I don't have an equal opponent, but my shoulders are like thriving. I just want to have a good fight with somebody. Yeah. So how can I do that? Then they agreed to become Hiranyakashipu, Hiranyakshipa. So in this way, Krishna really had with Hiranyakashipu, Hiranyakshaga, a very beautiful fight. இப்பவா இல்ல முதல்ல இருந்தே வா. Okay. Sorry. So like Bhishma Dev, like Jaya and Vijaya. Did you hear about Jaya Vijaya? Okay. So till when did you hear? Any of you can say?
Yeah, ma'am. You are telling about Jaya and Vijaya, their shoulders, like you are telling about that.
No, Narayana, Supreme Lord Narayan, in the Vaikunta, they were doorkeepers, and he told, I want a good fight. I want a good fight. So how can I have a good fight? So I don't have any equal opponent. So then they became Hiranyakashipu and Hiranyakshaga. And during Hiranyakshaga is the elder one, Hiranyakashipu is the younger one. then even though they are twins, and in twins, it is also mentioned, Prabhupada is mentioning, who is first, who is second cannot be told, because when the semen enters, the first semen enters and the second semen enters. So when in that case, the first one becomes elder, the second one becomes younger. But while coming out, the baby, the first baby which went inside will be there inside. And the second baby will be the first one to come out as a birth. So they will consider the one which is coming out first to be the first. Whereas actually when entering, it was the second one, something like that. Prabhupada is mentioning like this about twins that we cannot say, but generally they say Hiranyaksha is the elder one. Hiranyakashipu is mentioning like that, though somebody killed my elder brother. That is Varahadeva had a beautiful fight, and the conversations, we will see that how they both are having amazing conversations and long fight. Not just so simply, he came Lord. Lord can just kill anybody like no time, but he won't do it. So just because we have capability, it doesn't mean that we have to use it. Only when it is, that is called control. When it is required, you will use the capability. That is called control. Control doesn't mean withholding our abilities. No, that is not control. Like when it required, exactly required, we will use it. If it is not required, we won't use it. That is in full control. The same way, Hiranyakashipu was killed after a great fight, beautiful fight. And there was verbal fights also, and also physical fights. And Lord enjoyed this, like Bhishma Deva. I was telling, Bhishma Deva also is the eternal servant of the Lord. And in every lifetime, every time he appears, he will have a good fight to the Lord. He'll give rasa in the warfield. That is a primary service Bhishma is performing to the Lord. So chivalry is considered one of the rasa. Hiranyakashipu also, he and Narasimhadev had a nice serious fight, which was like, who will win, we will win. This kind of feeling will come. So in this way, Lord and his devotees, they have a very beautiful relationship, and they extend themselves to become anything for the pleasure of the Supreme Lord. Anything for you, Lord. I want to be a villain, you want me to be a villain, okay. Anything for you, Lord. Even though the heart is pratikulya, that is a pratikulya bhakti. Fulfilling the desire of the Supreme Lord is pratikulya bhakti. But even if you show that you're doing very, very favorably, when we act against our Acharya Parampara or deviations from our Acharya Parampara, even though externally it may look like devotional service, but it will be Pratikulya Bhakti, it won't be Anukulya. So we should very clearly know what is the mood and vibration of the spiritual master, and understand his teachings, and then based on his instructions and teachings and guidance, we should execute Krishna consciousness. That will always be favorable to Krishna consciousness. Be very favorable. So here we see that this Ashwatthama, he is seeing, okay, Duryodhana is there, Ashwatthama, even though he's a Brahmana, here if you see, the Arjuna is telling to Draupadi that I will behead the head of a Brahmana Bandhu, Brahma Bandhu. Brahma Bandhu. It's not Brahmana. It's a Brahmana Bandhu. That is Kali Yuga. Nobody is born Brahmana. Nobody is Brahmana. They don't, unless otherwise they take initiation in Krishna conscious society by proper process of chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Take the first initiation. Practice for some years, solid 5, 6 years, 7 years, 5 years, at least 5, 6 years, and then take Brahmana initiation. So in this way, only one becomes a Brahmana. Even if somebody starts chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra, they become Brahmana. They start chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra and get initiated. The minute they get even first initiation, when they chant Hare Krishna, they are not Brahmana. But when they take initiation in Hare Krishna Mahamantra, that we will see in Nectar of Devotion, the immediate next chapter describes who is a Brahmana. And when somebody chants any birth, he may be from any country, any part of the world, any village of the world, but he takes initiation from bona fide spiritual master, then he will higher than Brahmana. Why Brahmana? Higher than Brahmana. So all the Brahmanical qualities will be in him, and he will be more than a Brahmana. One example is there. There is some, what is that? Varishmati. Some one beautiful place, city was there. There, what happened? All the Shudras, they take up to Krishna consciousness and they become initiated. And while they got initiated, they were having very beautiful dhoti. They were wearing kurta and what nice chanting, tilak in the head, forehead, and in kantimala, and then in the hand. They looked like people directly from Vaikuntha. All were Shudras, but as soon as they got initiated, and they were so very effulgent and beautiful, and they were more than the ordinary Brahmanas we have seen. But in Kali Yuga, what happens from this Ashwatthama started the falling of all Varnashrama Dharma. So any talk of Varnashrama Dharma in Kali Yuga, we can say it is bogus, except it is mixed with Krishna consciousness and somebody is performing some duty. Then it is called Daivi Varnashrama. The normal Varnashrama, which is described in Vedic literatures, that is not prevailing at all in the present age of Kali. Kalau Sudra Sambhavaha. Kali Yuga is only Shudra, Ekavarna. Sirf only Ekavarna. In Satya Yuga, most of them were like having Brahmanical qualities and above. So they were all like also Ekavarna. And in other yugas, the other Varnas prevail. So the Ashwatthama is mentioned in this purport, in this sloka. Vrajeshwar Prabhu, can you scroll up? Can you hear me? You're muted. No, not there to the sloka. Yeah. You see the second line, Brahma Bandhu. So in many places, Prabhupada is explaining what is Brahma Bandhu. Brahma Bandhu means Brahma Jnanati iti Brahmana. What is the definition of a Brahmana? Brahma Jnana. Brahma Jnana means spiritual knowledge. All spiritual is called Brahma. So Brahma has Jyoti, then you have Paramatma, then you have Bhagavan, knowledge about Krishna, knowledge about spiritual existence, and out of illusion that I am the body and this is permanent, this life is very, very permanent, very serious conception. So a Brahmana is above this bodily concept and he understands it's a temporary body. Even the body is changing based on our karma. And actually, I am a spirit soul out of this material world. Somehow I have to educate the other people on this. So Patana Patana Yajana Yajana. So he will read the Vedic literatures and preach the Vedic literatures. Patana Patana. That must be the only duty, not go to America and do an IT job. That is not a Brahmana. Why I just have a thread around my around my chest. And then so I have Brahmana. I am a Brahmana. Not like that. And or I'll do some Vedic mantras just for money. And if somebody asks me what is the meaning of the mantra, I don't know. This is not Brahmana. So one is Patana Patana. Second is Yajana Yajana. You won't demand any dakshana. Okay, I will come and I'll perform the wedding. You need to give me this much money. Not like that. Of course, if somebody is a Vaishnava and they are getting it for the temple for service of Krishna, Vaishnava culture is totally different and very high class. We are talking about the regular so-called persons who are born in Brahmana families and claim themselves to be Brahmanas. We are talking about them. Prabhupada started a beautiful original Brahmanical culture. That is totally different because that is with Krishna. So we are talking about somewhere here, this Brahma Bandhu. Actually, Brahmana means he will know at least, I'm not this body, I'm spirit soul, and they have rebirth. So I have to somehow give them punya karma and see to that they are not doing papa karma. At least this much. Take them to heavenly planets or elevate them to the next level. This is the teacher. If there's a good teacher, the second standard student will go to third standard. And from third standard, good teacher, then he'll go to fourth standard. And in this way, the teacher is there to take him to the next level. Next level, and he has to finish degree or schooling. He has to finish. That is why the teacher is there. So the Brahmana is considered the teacher of the society, the Kshatriya, Vaishyas and Shudras. He's supposed to elevate them in their next life. They should not go into animalistic bodies. And he has to guide them. So we will see who's the Vipra and who's the Parivrajaka, all the differences. Very soon we are going to see all the differences. But as of now, this is the Brahmana Visa Brahmajnanati iti Brahmana. What is the Brahmajnana? Krishna is Supreme Personality of Godhead. At least worshipping of Vishnu. This must be there. So this is missing first. Second, Patana Patana Yajana Yaj. He should teach and do the teaching. And Yajana Yajana. He has to beg and he has to take Dakshina. Means Yajana Yajana. And he has anything extra, he will donate. He will get only donation. First, he will not work also, Patana, teaching only. And for teaching also, the disciple just have to give Dakshina. And if the Dakshina is excessive, he also should not keep it, he will have to donate it. Yajana and Yajana, both. And if you see Dronacharya, he did this. He was a teacher. He learned and he taught, Dronacharya. And he got the donations from the Pancha Pandavas and everybody. And then he lived, but not fully. In between, he had the desire his son has to become a king. So, if the son becomes king, Ashwatthama was given a portion of the kingdom, like a bribing by Duryodhana. Duryodhana thinks he can get the favor of his guru simply by bribing him. You can donate so much money, so much this, that, and all that. But if he is a real spiritual master, he will not be carried away by this. One time, during Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur was there, and Prabhupada was also sitting. Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur was taking class. And Prabhupada was there, and there was a donor, very rich donor. So Prabhupada only introduced him and brought him. So he gave, in Gaudiya Math, he gave lot of donation. 64 Gaudiya Maths, very good compound, very good property. Gaudiya Math has amazing properties. Amazing. It's not like only ISKCON, this, that. So proud that your spiritual master will not be pleased when his spiritual master is defamed. Same way, Prabhupada will not be pleased if somebody is defaming Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur is the one who establishes all the things which we are practicing in Krishna consciousness today. An institution, a system, how to register an institution, how to collect life members, how to run a temple, what is the 64 Angas of Bhakti of Rupa Goswami, systematically organized in an everyday life of a person who joins that institution. All this process is set by Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. And that was copied by Srila Prabhupada and expanded by Srila Prabhupada. So Prabhupada never interpreted his Guru Maharaj's instruction. He was a pure and sincere disciple. Even though you may see, okay, all glories to Srila Prabhupada, but in Prabhupada Pranam Mantra, we are saying, Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharini Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Paschatya Desathari. So like this. So the donor was keep speaking. Then so much donation he has given. So he thought that he can speak something in the class. He has a special privileged student because he has donated a lot of money. But he didn't see that there are many disciples who are sitting there, donated the life only. He didn't see that. He was proud. So he thought he's a VIP. So you see some stage programs, there will be some speaker who will be speaking in the stage, and the VIPs who are sitting in the dais, sitting here and there on the stage, they will be having many chairs and they'll sit, and one person will be on the dais speaking. And these people will speak to each other and joke and smile. They won't listen to the other person who's speaking. Because they consider themselves to be privileged. The mutual respect they don't give to each other. This is what in material world, if you are desiring name, fame, glory, position, this is the genuinity and sincerity you will get. Same way this materialistic person was just speaking to Prabhupada, something whispering, even though Prabhupada actually wanted to listen to Guru Maharaj. Then Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur looked at him and he said that, just because you have given donation, you have not purchased me. He straightforward told him in the lecture only, just because you have given donation, you have not purchased me. I am not a dancing doll in your hand, rather I'm a dancing doll in the hands of my guru. That's it. By giving donation, nobody can purchase anything. So here, this bribing, he tried to bribe Dronacharya, Duryodhana. And Dronacharya also had this desire. There started the breaking. You can see the breaking point. There's another breaking point we will see where this Varnashrama Dharma is getting broken. Sarvadharman Parityaja is starting. So there's a beautiful opportunity to Mamekam Sharanam Raja, to surrender to Krishna. Varnashrama Dharma gets broken. Dharma gets broken. People get shattered. And they would like to see another Dharma. And there brings Lord Chaitanya a beautiful Dharma of Swadharma, Atma Dharma. Then we can place our feet on that and we can proceed in that. And that is the ultimate boat. When a boat is sinking, a big ship is coming. Your boat is sinking. Then the big ship is coming. And there's a beautiful, exceptional captain. Big admirals and captains are coming with the ship and just picking you up. Just get from the boat into the ship, no? Same way, this Varnashrama Dharma, that is what Krishna is telling. Even if you look at the Sarvadharma and Parityaja portion, when we give to devotees, they partially read. I gave an exercise to a group of devotees. I saw that how much partial vision they have. They never highlighted any other portion of Srila Prabhupada where he is saying in the purport that even Varnashrama Dharma has to be given up. They cannot digest. Don't even see when Acharya is telling, still they are not listening. It was a big shock for me how devotees are so blindfolded that they are not ready to accept this fact. But the world is going in the direction and our future generation will be forced into this. So teaching Swadharma, that you're not the body, you're spirit soul, you're eternal servant of Krishna, and tightly holding Lord Chaitanya's lotus feet, and this Acharya Parampara is the only savior ship in this ocean of material existence. This faith is the starting point of devotional, pure devotional service. So people so much hesitate to enter into pure devotional service, fearing that I will lose my ground. So another we will see that when a son of Brahmana will curse Parikshit, there also the Brahmanical culture is broken. Same way here also the Brahmanism is broken from Ashwatthama's father. So Ashwatthama is called so-called Brahmana, acted like a bacha, because his father himself put him as a king. How can they can teach a king, under exceptional situation they can enter war. That's all. A Brahmana should never rule the kingdom. He should advise the ruler. How a head can become a shoulder? The head want to become a shoulder, thinking shoulder is great. Many people wanted to be a management person, whereas preaching they don't consider to be primary, management to be primary. That is so foolish. Head is the one is the ruling the body. And the shoulder is the one, of course, it will do Herculean feats. Oh, he performed that, he created that Prabhu doing so many service that person doing. But he is not giving the original advice of the Krishna consciousness. So many things doing is what does that mean? No brain. So Krishna is telling in Bhagavad Gita, you give your mind and intelligence to me. Give your mind and intelligence to me. If you cannot give your mind and intelligence to me, do physical service. Second level. Third level, if you cannot do physical service unto me, then you do donation to me. But if you cannot do the donation to me, then you donate to somebody poor, some other people, qualified, not poor, qualified people you donate. This is what is Krishna's standard, which he is explaining in Bhagavad Gita. So absorbing the mind and intelligence, the service of the Lord in any form, even as a Brahmana in karma yoga, they are actually preaching to the world of spiritual knowledge, and step by step, they are taking up. But you want to give up Brahmanical and you want to take up Kshatriya, you want to rule a kingdom, the desire has come, and they are ulta. So Krishna tells the same sloka repeat twice in Bhagavad Gita. Imperfectly performing your own duty is better than perfectly performing another's duty. So now, by birth Brahmana, training Brahmana, all these things are gone. Even though Dronacharya trained his son, so he is no more Brahmana. By birth, nobody is Brahmana. By birth, nobody is Brahmana. So this is very, very essential. This Brahma Bandhu, this word. So killing such a Brahmana son. So this killing a Brahmana is actually a sin. But he is not Brahmana, he is a Brahmana Bandhu. He can be killed. Then it is not sin. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Hari Om Tat Sat. Any questions, comments, or realization? Please share with us. Five, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. So thank you very much for the association. We'll get together sharp 5 o'clock tomorrow again with the chanting of the holy name of the Lord congregationally and continue to release Srimad Bhagavatam. Gandhra Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Patita Pawan Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Patita Pawan Srila Guru Maharaj ki jai. Vancha kalpataru.
कृपा सिंधु पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः।
Guru Maharaj ki jai.
जय
Ki jai.
जय